Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to just go over all of my dividends that I got for the month of March. Now, this isn't going to be a deep dive into each of the different holdings and why I'm holding each one. This is really going to just be at a very high level. I expect this video to go by fairly quick. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about it. So this is my new income portfolio that I basically built on Robinhood. And this has, a bunch of cover call ETFs, right? Income type of ETFs. We have PLTW, which is the Palantir weekly income from Roundhill, as well as the Nvidia weekly income from Roundhill, NVW. And then I also hold XPAY, which is a target 20 distribution from Roundhill. It's basically writing long calls on the S&P 500, and then it's supposed to pay out 20% a year in dividend and distributions. Now you guys can go and look at that stuff if you want. I will put a link to the ETFs down below in the description in case you are interested, but the links will basically explain what they are. And I also hold a 0DTE cover call ETF for the S&P 500. So these two are S&P 500, XPAY, and XDTE. All right, so let's look at how much actual dividend income I made for the month of March. All right, and I'm not going to hit you with a spreadsheet because I think that's kind of silly in my opinion. You're not going to be able to see it anyways. So what I'm going to do is just kind of show you the numbers, and then we'll add everything up at the very end. All right. So we're going to look for dividend income, and we're going to skip these two because this is going to be counted for April. I thought about counting it for March, but I don't want the numbers to look, more juicier than they really are. So I'll just count this for April because I did get them in April 1st. Okay. So we have, from, all the holdings, I did have a cover call ETF for Ethereum, but I ended up selling out of it. So I actually used to have 5 holdings, but now I have 4. But before I sold out of it, I made sure to collect the dividend so I at least could get that money and then sold it off, right? But I was able to get $882. I got a bunch of money from XDTE and a bunch of money from PLTW as well as from XPAY. All right, XPAY paid out a juicy $1,117. And to be perfectly, transparent and open and honest with you, a lot of these positions have a lot of money in them. Okay, XDTE and XPAY alone have about 65,000 each, whereas PLTW and the newer holding NVW, they only have about $20,000. All right, so just in case you haven't seen my previous videos, that is the amounts that each of these different holdings have. Now, I also have a portfolio on M1 Finance that I'm going to cover here in just a second, but I want you guys to also know that I am using margin for this. Okay, I'm using margin to juice up those returns. I will admit, yes, it is scary to be investing with margin right now, especially when we're kind of suffering from a market downturn, a market correction, or a bear market, whatever. You pick your poison, right? But I am fairly confident that I won't be affected and get a margin call. I do have a lot of buffer. Okay, I am at a low risk, and I'd have to lose about $42,000 in order to get a margin call. So I am fairly certain that that won't happen. If it does, then that will be a really, really crappy day. But until then, I will continue collecting the dividends from these ETFs. These are completely passive. I don't have to really do anything. And this fits exactly my type of investing. I'm a buy and hold long-term passive cash flow type of investor. So these fit the bill very, very nicely. Up until now, basically up until the end of February, I really wasn't investing in cover call ETFs. It just wasn't my thing. I got like really, I don't know, a bad taste from when I used to invest in QYLD way back in the day. So I never touched any cover call ETFs, and it looked like the industry really matured. You have all these new fund managers coming out. The most popular one, I suppose, or infamous one, whatever you want to call it, is yieldmax. So yieldmax has been, around and about, and they've been coming out with new funds almost every single day. So they really made a lot of waves in the cover call ETF space, right? They've been paying out like extremely high yields. Some distribution rates have been as high as 100%. So I stayed away from all of that for a long, long time. And then, only recently, up until about a month ago, did I actually start taking it serious and learning how to use these instruments, using how to use these products to build a portfolio around. So, I did invest into a couple different ones. How I ended up all in Roundhill, I was not by design. It's just I never found anything close to what I was looking for Palantir or for Nvidia. if Curve offered something for Nvidia, I definitely would have went with Curve over Roundhill. Not that Roundhill is bad or anything like that, or I have a sour taste about them. It's just, I don't like being so concentrated in one single fund manager or one, family of funds, I suppose, if that's what you want to call it. Maybe at some point in the future, I will figure out, how to diversify fund managers. I am still sitting on $23,000 worth of cash right now after selling out of the Ethereum cover call ETF. So I will be looking to deploy that cash in something probably after April 2nd. And honestly, the way things are looking, I might just dump it into XDTE. I do like XDTE a lot, and I like that it's completely passive. It's tied to an index. So, it doesn't have that single stock exposure risk that NVW has or PLTW. So that is it about this portfolio. Again, I will add everything up at the very end to show you how much money I actually made in total. So here is the M1 Finance portfolio. This is where I house all my REITs and BDCs. This is going to make a bulk of the portfolio. And then I have, a VGT, a technology specific ETF in here as well. For the BDCs, they're going to be paying out a couple dividends this month. So are the REITs. So let's take a look at that right now. So for activity, I'm not going to go through each different one because that would take all day. And again, I'm not going to hit you guys with a spreadsheet. No offense to anyone who does. I just think, it's kind of silly. I can just show you guys how much I made. I can do all the math for you right now. And I know there's all these little graphs and things like that. I just, M1 Finance does it for me, so I can just show you. But yeah, this is all the dividend income I made for the month of March. Crown Castle paid out very well, almost $250. Prologis, which is a logistics / warehouse company or REIT, they paid out $199. And then we have Public Storage paying out $143. SLRC, which is a BDC, paid out $164. And then et cetera, Vanguard, VGT paid out $193. So we have some big hitters in here, which is really nice to see. If we look at the holdings and if we look at the dividend income, we will see that for the month of March, made roughly $1,200, which was really nice. So let's add it all up. And I'll just show you, like I said, how much I made for the month of March. Okay, in total, I made $5,134 for March. All right, that is the largest amount I've ever been paid in dividends. And again, this is a wild ride right now. Okay, the markets are in turmoil. We seem to be heading down and continue to head down. Who knows what's going to happen after April 2nd? I'm very glad to be investing in these specific cover call ETFs only because, as the market goes down, so will these. But as the market recovers, hopefully, and I got to put that asterisk in there, that caveat, hopefully XPAY and XDTE will also recover along with them, right? While still being able to pay out, some type of income. I am not looking for any of the holdings on Robinhood with the exception of PLTW and, it should be NVW now. To actually grow in value. That whole portfolio, the whole purpose is just to pay out income, right? Pay out some type of money that I can use, to either reinvest back into the portfolio, continue the snowball or the compounding, or maybe I can use that money to pay for some of my expenses as I do live out here in Thailand. All right, so that'll do it for this portfolio update. I hope you guys liked it. I hope this is a little inspirational. It is a very sizable portfolio. Okay. I got to admit that, I know not everyone just has a bunch of money laying around, but this took many, many years to actually build. The Robinhood portfolio was a little more quicker only because, I basically margined to the tits, leveraged to the tits as it were. But building the REIT / BDC portfolio has actually been the longest time frame. It took a lot of money, a lot of strategic moves in order to build that up because I wanted to sell out of my real estate and then move the money into REITs. And that's why you see it as such, right? And then I ended up cashing out of my 401k and then putting that money into the technology ETF VGT because I just didn't want my money sitting in a 401k any longer. So I did take a tax hit there, took a tax burden there, is what it is. But outside of that, I hope you guys, like the video. I hope you guys get a little bit of inspiration and just know that, investing is a long-term game. Play the long game. You know, don't look for shortcuts or else you will get burned. Okay. Be careful if you're going to use margin. Be careful who you listen to, especially on YouTube, like, especially me. Don't just copy my trades. Don't just listen to what I'm, you know, or copy what I'm doing, because, you know, I could do things at a moment's notice that you wouldn't be aware of. And then I would feel horrible if you ended up losing a ton of money. So please do not just copy my trades. Please do not just copy my strategies or copy anything I'm doing. All right. That's only just for your own safety. So outside of that, hope you guys enjoyed the video. You guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.